Hi guys, welcome back. This is Mike Hermes at MH Tutorials, and today I want to show you guys how you can model a modern bar scene. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by creating a polygon cube. We're just going to drag that out in the grid and pull that up. So that will be our working space, so to speak. Hit 5 for shaded mode. Right click, go to face, and select these three faces and hit delete. Okay, so now we've got our ground plane, our two walls. And what we're going to do is we're just for now going to go to object mode, select the whole scene, and move that over here so we've got our grid to model some objects. Okay, now I want to start off with the bar itself, so I'm going to grab a polygon cube. I'm going to drag that out, pull that up somewhat, something like that. Hit F to zoom in. And I want to round the corners, so I'll just pull this up a little bit. Right click, go to edge, select these two edges, and go to edit mesh and down to bevel. Okay, now I want to make it nice and round, so I'm going to pull my offset up to 1 and my segments up to 10. All right, just quickly want to get rid of these edges here and these edges here. Just going to hit delete. Everything's still looking good. Okay. Now we're going to right click on the front here, select this face. We're going to go up to edit mesh, hit extrude, hit R, and we're going to scale that in. Okay. Now we need to tweak it a bit because it needs, I'll do that from our front view. It needs to be symmetrical, if you know what I mean. So we're just going to, that looks about right. Okay. So we got that. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to right click on this face here, that one. We're going to go to edit mesh, extrude, hit W, and we're going to pull it out a little bit, like that. We're going to hit edit mesh and extrude again. And we're going to hit R and we're going to scale that out a little bit. Okay. Now, there we need to tweak it again because it still has to be symmetrical. So we're going to pull down on this axis here. Something like that. Okay. Let's just see how that looks. All right, not too bad. Okay, so now we need to have some legs or at least some base unit to support the bar itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a cube shape to hold that up. So we're going to create another cube. We're going to drag that out, drag that up a little bit. And from our top view, we're going to get that into position. So I'm going to hit W, and I'm going to move that in. And actually, to get it nice and central, I'm going to select my bar, go to object mode, sorry, object mode, select my bar, and I'm going to set the translation values to 0, like that, and I'm going to take my base, and I'm going to do the same. So it's in the middle, okay? Now we're going to check that to see if we're at the correct height. And obviously not, because you can see that my base is inside the bar right now. So we're going to pull that down. Just check that from the various views. Okay. Not too bad. So these two are now the base for my bar. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to mesh and combine, and I'm just going to position it roughly in my scene for now. Just hit F to zoom in. Let's see if that's looking okay. Got a little bit of space here for the bar guy to go behind the counter. Need some space back there. All right. Let's make sure it's on the floor plan correctly. So we're going to check that from our front view. Hit F. Let's see, pull it up a little bit. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so now we've got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create some shelves in the back. And later on we're going to put some lighting in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a shape that will be good for holding bottles and stuff, but also we're going to create something to hold lights above the bar. Okay, so we're going to create a cube shape like that. We're going to pull it out in the grid, pull it up a little. I'll hit F to zoom in, something like that. We're going to go to the front view. There we are. And we have our object selected. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate that. Pull that up about 2 levels like that. And we're going to hit Shift D, and Shift D. Just check how that's looking. Not too bad. We're going to drag select those, go to Mesh and Combine. And now we're going to go to our top view and we're going to position them, okay? So we're going to pull them over there and we're going to place them next to the wall there. Hit F to zoom in. All right, that looks about right. Maybe a little bit in that direction. And let's see if our height is okay. So we're going to check that from our front view. And we need to go up a little bit because we got one down here and it doesn't make sense to have one on the floor. So let's do this and see if that works. All right, not too bad. Yeah, okay, good. Now, as I mentioned, I want to have some room to create my lighting. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to create a couple of tubes. Okay, so I'm going to select the cylinder. I'm going to pull it out in the grid, something like that. Hit E and pull it over 90 degrees. We're going to scale it down quite a bit. So we're going to select it, we're going to scale it down quite a bit, and we're going to stretch it out. Let's hit F to zoom in a bit. Okay, that looks all right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our top view. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate that. We're going to pull that over, something like so. And we're going to hit Control D again. Pull that one over here. E to rotate that to 90 degrees. I'll hit F to zoom in. Something like that. We're going to hit W. We're going to bring it in here, not all the way. Something like that. And we're going to hit R, and we're going to stretch that out. And make sure that we have the same distance sticking out, okay? So, something like that. Yeah, not too bad. We're going to select these three. Go to Edit Mesh, Mesh and Combine. And now let's get that into position. So we're going to go to our top view. We're going to move that in like so. We need to scale that into position. So we're going to bring that down by hitting R. Get it a little bit closer to the wall. Maybe a bit more. Hit R again. We want to have the lights on top of our bar. I'm going to hit F to zoom in, just to tweak it a bit. Okay, that looks fairly nice. Okay, now we need to adjust the height a little bit. We need to pull that up, and we'll make it level with the top shelf. So we're going to go to this view here, hit F to zoom in. I'm just going to go to modify and center pivot. That helps a little bit. Okay, we're going to make that like that. Okay. All right. So we got something to hold the lights. Now we're going to actually create a few lights. And for that, we're going to, let me think. We're going to, actually, we'll make some modern lights. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a sphere. We're going to pull that out. We're going to go to our polyspheres, and I'm going to increase the subdivisions to 40 by 40, like that. And then from my front view, I'm going to cut that in half. So right-click, face. I'm just going to drag, select that until I'm at half. I'm going to hit delete. Okay. So we got that. Now I want to stretch that out quite a bit. So first of all, as you can see, it's a very thin. It's only one layer, so that should be good. Okay, right click, go to object mode, select your light, hit R, and we're going to stretch it out quite a bit. Something like so. And just to give it some, I don't know, some futuristic look, we're going to right click on the base here, go to edge, double click the lower edge. We're going to go up to edit mesh, extrude. We're going to hit R, scale it out, hit W, pull that down, hit edit mesh and extrude again, W, pull that down, edit mesh and extrude again, R, scale that in, and now we just need to look at it from this end. Okay, edit mesh, extrude again, and we're going to hit W and we're going to pull that up. Okay, all right, so we got that. Now we need to have a cable for our lamp, so we're going to select another cylinder, something like that. We're going to go to our top view to position that on top. Just hit F to zoom in. As you can see, it's not very round, so I'm just going to add some subdivisions to it. I'm just going to change that to 60. That looks about good. And I want to position my cable. Come on, object mode, cable, yep. I want that to be in the middle of my lamp. So hit F to zoom in. So we can get that a bit better positioned. That looks about right. And let's see from the top. Okay, we need to pull that up. And we need to make that quite a bit thinner. So we're going to hit R, we're going to scale that down, and we're going to stretch that out. Okay. Now we need to have a little plate up here for our cable. So that's what we're going to do next. Actually, I'm going to stretch my cable a bit more because I will be scaling down the lamp in a second quite a bit. So we're just going to see how far that is sticking in. I hit W, something like so. Okay. And now we're going to create a little plate that we're going to use up there. Okay. So for that, we're going to select the polygon cylinder. I'm going to drag that out in the grid. I'll just hit F to zoom in. Something like that. I'm going to increase our subdivisions again to make that a bit more round, maybe a bit more, let's say 60. I'm going to add a couple of caps to this. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is right click, go to face, select the outer edge, and I'm going to push that down to get some shape to it, like so. Looks good. And I'm going to go to right click, object mode, and I'm going to position that on the top of my cable. Hit E to flip it over by 90 degrees. 180 degrees. We're going to position that on top of our cable. So we're going to go to our top view. And as you can probably see, I'll just get this translation value to 0. And we'll do the same here. Okay, so that's in position. However, I need to scale that down quite a bit because we had these very small tubes, as you can probably remember. And I still got my cable here. I need to get that in the middle as well. Okay, so let's see what we got. I have to get my cable back up. Because I changed the translation values, everything went down a bit, so I'm going to pull my cable back up. My plate should be inside the lamp right now, probably. There it is. Up here, and now we can tweak it a bit. So we're going to bring that down onto our cable, and now we have to get it into proportion somewhat. So we're going to scale this guy down, stretch it out a bit maybe, and let's bring that down a bit, and we'll see how we go. Where's my little plate? As you can see, it's very small. Let's scale that a bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to position these parts so by itself it looks okay in proportion, and then I'm going to scale it down to fit my scene. Okay, so that is good. That would be about right, except for the plate is a little bit too big, so scale it down just a bit. Okay, so let's say that this entire setup is okay. I still think the cable is a bit long, but what I'll do is I'll drag select this whole thing, go to mesh and combine, hit R and scale that down. As you can see, it's changing my shape a lot. Let me think. Okay, we're just going to do it this way. I'm going to hit W, and we're going to start to move that into our scene, and let's see how that looks. So I'm in my top view now, and I want that here. I'll get it into the right proportion first, and then I'll spread them out. Okay, so we need to pull that guy up. Okay, you can see that they're pretty long, so I'm gonna hit R, scale it down a bit, and pull it up again. And you can see that my base plate here is a bit wide. So now that I got that in position, I'll just make sure it's central. Something like that. Now that I got that in position, what I can do is go back to Edit Mesh, separate the mesh. I can just grab that foot plate here, or the top plate, and scale that down a lot, and hit W and pull it back up. Now we'll check from the various views. Let's check from our front view. As you can see, the plate needs to go down a little. So does my light fixture. There's my plate. Modify center pivot. I want the plate to be visible, and I can take my light and just pull it up inside the tube because you won't see that. So let's see what we got. Okay, not too bad. All right, now that we got that, I'm okay with the lamp for now. I'm going to select the individual parts. I'm going to go back to mesh and combine. And I'm going to position a few lamps on my rod here. So I'm going to go to my top view, hit Control D to duplicate that. Modify center pivot, there we go. We're going to move on over to here. Hit Control D again, and we'll do one that should be in the middle roughly. Let's just check that for now. Okay, not too bad. All right. Okay, so now we need to create some chairs. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. We are going to, let's see, we're going to make some rectangular chairs. So I'm going to grab a cube, and I'm going to pull that out like so. Actually, let me think, is that a good idea? No, I'm not going to do that with a cube. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a cylinder like that. Hit F to zoom in. I'm going to pull it up a little. I'm going to increase my divisions to, let's say, 60, so it's nice and round. And I'll add some caps to that, 3 in total. And what I'll do is similar to the plate that we did before. Right click, go to face. We're going to select those. Actually, I'll just select the outer edge. We're going to bring that down quite a bit. So yeah, that's good. Now we're going to select the faces in the middle here, like that. We're going to go to Edit Mesh and Extrude. Hit W, pull that up, and hit R and scale that in. Something like that. Then we're going to go to Edit Mesh and Extrude again. Hit W, and we're going to pull that up. Okay. A bit more. Just check the proportions. Yeah, it's not too bad. Good. And now we need to create a seat to go onto this. Okay. So how we're going to do that? We're going to create a polygon cube. We're going to pull that up. I'm going to go to my polycube settings, and I'm going to increase the subdivisions to 20 by 20 by 5. Let me think. Just zoom in. We'll check that. Yeah, that works for me. I'm going to select these faces, Edit Mesh, Extrude, hit W to pull that out. And we're just going to check that from our side view here. We'll just hit 5 for shaded mode. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. Now we're going to model that a bit. First of all, I'm going to go to Edit Mesh. I'm going to Insert Edge Loop Tool, and I'm going to put some edges in here. And we're going to tweak this a little. So we're going to right click, go to Vertex, zoom in, hit B for soft selection. I'm going to select the top part, hit W, push that out a little. I'll do that in 4 and wireframe mode so you can see it better. Okay, just going to push that out. I'm just going to slowly start to shape that. Just to give it some shape. Just check and see what we got, whether that looks okay or not. Yeah, there's something wrong there. Just going to go back a few steps. Yeah, it's these edges. They need to go. Just turn my soft selection off. That should be right. Yeah, okay. So where were we? Let me see. So the side view here. Yeah, right click, vertex. Just gonna drag select that. I'm gonna push that down a little. Something's tricking me up here. Yeah, well, we're doing this on the fly, so hopefully you guys bear with me. Okay, I'll just think about that for a second. But in the meantime, let's continue to tweak this a bit. So I'm going to go to my deformation tab. I'm going to select soft modification tool. I'm going to hold down my B key, and I'm going to bring in my selection by left clicking and dragging. I'm going to get this into, into position. So modification, just going to pull that up a little. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to push that in just a bit. Okay, I'm going to right click, go to object mode, right click and smooth, and let's see what that looks like. That doesn't look good at all. Well, we got some shape into it. Just thinking if that is enough. Oops, got some weird stuff going on there. Just to correct that. Yeah, okay. We'll just go with this. Okay. So, right click, object mode, select that. We're going to get that on top of our chair. So we're going to go to our top view. And we're going to select all of that. Mesh and combine. I think it already was combined. We're going to set the translation value to 0 to get it into the middle. We're going to do the same with our chair. There we go. And now let's see if the height is okay. So we're gonna pull that up, and we're gonna do something like that. Yeah, looks about right. We're gonna select all the parts, go to Mesh Combine, and we're gonna go to Edit, Delete by Type History. So that is our chair for now. We're gonna hit E to rotate it around by 180 degrees. We're gonna hit R to scale that guy down quite a bit. And we're gonna put him in front of the bar. So where is our chair? It's over there. Hit W. We're gonna move that over. Size-wise, it looks okay, I think. Just see how many we need. So we got one there. Control D. One about there. Control D. We're going to do one there. Control D. Okay, just level out these two here. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Now we need to make sure that they're level with the ground plane. So I'm going to check that from this view here. I'm going to select my 4 chairs, hit F to zoom in. And as you can see, they need to be pulled up just a little. Okay, like that. All right, now we need, oh, I got one extra chair over here. Let's get rid of that. So now we need to create some bottles. Okay. For that, I'm going to use a CV curve tool, and I'm going to do that freehand, so to speak, so hopefully that works out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our, let me think, create CV curve tool. Okay. Going to go to my front view here. And this is always tricky, so hopefully this is going to work. Okay, I'm just going to start to create the shape of a ball. So what you do is you create something that is half of the ball, if you know what I mean, like that. You can hit enter, so you get something like this. Doesn't look too bad, so we're gonna select that. We're gonna go to, I believe it was surfaces, and hit revolve. Okay, that's not it. Surfaces, it's revolve, however, it's let me see, edit, reset, on X, nope, sorry guys, just have to figure this out for a second. What I'll do is I'll just, I'm not going to bore you with that, I'll just quickly pause the video until I figure out what to do, and I'll be back in a sec. Well, I'm back, guys. The problem was that my pivot point, this one here, was over here. Over here, and you know, obviously, you can't revolve when you do that. So my apologies for that. So what I did is I just select my object, right? Hit the insert key to allow me to move my pivot point to the center of my bottle, like that. Then you can go to surfaces, go up to surfaces and just hit revolve. Okay, much better. Now that we got that, this is a NURBS object, right? And I need to transform that to a polygons object. Well, I don't need to, but I want to, okay? So I'm going to select this object here. I'm going to go up to Modify. Let me think. Where was that? In my menu. Should be here. Lasso tool. So much going on. I did this like a zillion times. Let me see. Modify, convert. There we go. NURBS to polygons. I have to select it first. Modify, convert NURBS to polygons. There we go. So now I can move that, select that, and we got two of them. We got our polygon and our NURBS. So I'm going to get rid of my NURBS object, and then I got my polygon one. Okay. So now we're going to copy these into our scene a couple of times, and we're going to scale that down obviously a lot. So hit R, scale that down quite a bit, hit F to zoom in, and what we're going to do is go to Modify and Center Pivot. So that will allow us to manipulate our bottle a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to hit W, we're going to push that into our scene roughly, and we're just going to switch views, and I'm going to start with my side view. So that's my bottle, maybe still a bit big, so I'm going to hit R, scale it down a little, hit W, move that into my shelf, and move it onto my shelf. We're going to check that from this angle here. I'll just hit 4 for wireframe mode. Okay, so we're going to duplicate that a couple of times. So I hit Control D, duplicate that. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. I'm going to select my bottles here, go to Mesh and Combine. Hit W. Control D, pull it up there, move it over here, something like that. We're going to do one more, Control D, pull it up to that level, maybe put them there, and hit Control D, and we're going to put in some separate ones as well. So I got that. Mesh separate, just gonna get rid of those so I don't have the same number everywhere. I'll just select these two, Control D. So at least we've got some bottles going on, okay? So let's see what we got. Oops. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to apply some materials to get some stuff going, okay? So we're going to select our ground plane and our walls, and I'm going to right-click, assign new material, and I'm going to select a Fong E material, and I'm going to change the color to white, okay? Now I'm going to select my bar shape, right-click, assign new material, Fong E, and we're going to select, let me think, we're going to select white. No, we're not. We're going to select black. There we go. We're going to select the, first we're going to separate the meshes on the chairs. So mesh and separate. We're going to select the legs of the chair, so not that seat, just the legs. There we go. Right click, assign new material. We're going to go with an MIA underscore material X. Go to Material tab, go to Presets and select Chrome and Replace. I want my seats to be red, so I'm going to select those. Right click, assign new material. We're going to go with a Fong E. Change the color to bright red, like that. I'm going to select my shelves. Right click, assign new material. Go to MIA underscore X. The Material tab, Preset, Glass Solid, and Replace, like that. And I'm going to select my light bar up here. I want that to be, let me think, we'll make that chrome as well. Assign new material, preset chrome, and replace. The cables for my lamps, I need to separate them first. Mesh and separate. So just the cables, I want them to be black, so assign new material. I don't want it to be shiny, so Lambert. And we're going to make that a black cable. I want the light shapes itself to be, let me think. I want them to be glass, okay? So right click, assign new material, MIA underscore X, material tab, presets, glass solid, and replace. But I want to change the color to blue, like that. And now we're going to select our bottles. I'll do that from this view here. That should be a bit easier. Just want my bottles, nothing else. There we go. I think I got all of them. Right click, assign new material, material X, presets, glass, let me think, glass, solid. There it is, replace. We're going to give this a little bit of a green color, like that. So we need to select the plates that hold the light fixtures. So we're going to go up here. We're going to select that one, and that one. Right click, assign new material, material X. I want to use a copper for that. Something like so. Okay. So we got a basic setup here. In my bar, I want to select the front face here. So that one. Right click, assign new material, material X. We're going to go with a chrome. So chrome and replace. And now we're going to set up some lighting. So what I'm going to do is go to my render settings. And yeah, here we go, render settings. I'm going to go to mental ray. Actually, I have to because I use several mental ray materials. I'm going to go into my indirect lighting and I'm going to select image-based lighting. So create. And I'm going to select an HDRI file that I want to use for that. So let's go with a, let me see. Let's see what's appropriate. I'm going to go with this one here. No, that one. Okay. So I got that. We're not going to see that in our scene. I'm just using the lighting for that. And let's see, what else are we going to do? Well, we'll just give this a quick render to see where we're at. I'm just going to create a camera angle. And what I will do is I will put in create light, point light. Just going to position that in my scene. So I'll be able to create some shadows. Let's see how high I am with my light. That's pretty high, something like that. I don't know if that will be enough, but we'll start with that. In my point light shape tab, I'm going to go to shadows and use depth map shadows. So we're gonna create our view here. Just gonna pull these walls up. What I'll do is I'll just duplicate the floor. I can't. Oh, hang on. I forgot that the walls are connected. So what I'll do is I'll right-click, go to Edge, select these two edges, Edit Mesh, and Extrude, and I'll just pull them up, so I don't have to worry about that in my scene. So I can rotate this angle a bit, and let's just start off with a test render and see where we're at. Okay, so I'm going to set my quality to about 1.25. Common tab, I'm going to change the image size to HD. Where is it? HD. Where'd he go? 1080. Yeah. Okay. And one more little thing. Well, maybe I'm going to test render first. Okay. Hopefully it's not going to take forever. If it does, I'll just pause for a sec. Yeah, this is going to take a while. I'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, and I'm back. Well, as you can see, there are some issues with this render. First of all, there's quite a lot of brown color going on. That's created by the HDRI file, and there's too much reflectivity going on here. So we're going to do some tweaking, okay? So we're just going to shut down this render, like so. We're going to select this wall here. So just select those faces. I'm going to right-click, assign new material. I'll just go with a Lambert material. I'll still keep it white, like so. Okay. And let's see what else I can do to tweak that a little bit. Maybe it's not too shiny, so it should be okay. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to select this plane here, and I'm going to let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I'm going to right-click on that. I'm going to go to Edit Mesh and Extrude. Hit R to scale that in, and we're going to position that shape behind our bar, sort of. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and that face, I'm going to assign material to that. Assign new material. Go to MIA, Material X, and I'm going to make that a mirror, like so. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to change the HDRI file, so I'm just going to select this here. I'm going to hit delete. Come on. No idea why. Okay, we'll do it differently. Indirect lighting, image-based lighting, delete. Image-based lighting, create. Okay, so I'm going to select a different file. And what I'll do is I'm going to select some studio lighting. And I'll try this one here. Okay, let's see how that works out. And this light here is too low. It's typically you wouldn't have a light source at that angle, and it's also pretty bright. So I'm going to select that light, at least try to select that light. Why is that not working? Object mode, there we go. I'm going to pull that up quite a bit. And in the attribute editor, I'm going to tweak the color a little bit. And let's go with a little bit of blue, but not too much. So we're going to try and keep that fairly light, something like that. And we're going to bring the intensity down to about 0.4, okay. And we're going to position our view for our render, which will be slightly different than the one before. I think that looks good. Okay, there we go. We're going to do another render. I'm going to pause again, and I'll be back with you guys when the render is done. Hi guys, and I'm back. Well, as you can see, this render is almost done. It's not too bad, except there is too much shadow. There are too much shadows going on here. So one more thing I want to try is I want to add an ambient light to soften those shadows a little bit. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm just going to hit escape on this render here. And we're going to go up to create lights, ambient light. And I'm just going to see where it's at. Okay, it's around here. Now, typically, and I'll just hit 7 on my keyboard to show you, typically when you insert an ambient light, you got way too much light going on. So I'm going to bring that down a bit to, let's say, 0.3. That will be about good. And I guess that this should be the final render. So let's give that a try. All right. So we still got, I'll select my global illumination here. Quality, all right. And this should be the final render. So see you guys in a sec. Well, there you go, guys. This is the, as far as I'm concerned, the final render. Now, it's obviously not 100% perfect, but it's based on the skills that I got right now, and hopefully that will improve as I move along. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If you got any questions, let me know, as always. And if you guys want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. And see you guys next time. Bye.